Hey everybody, welcome back to the Prima Events User Forum. This is Chris and I'm going to be your host today. This time we're going to be going over Google Analytics. We'll be going over how to set it up on your Prima Go web store and then what you can do with it once it is set up. As usual, if you have any questions during the presentation, Emma is going to be available in the chat to answer those. Otherwise, we'll hold the normal Q&A session at the end. But okay, we'll jump right into it. So Google Analytics, if you don't already know, is a tool that allows you to track the users that visit your website. You'll be able to see how they visit your website and what they do while they're on your website. So to set up Google Analytics, first you're going to need a Google account. You can use any of your existing Google accounts, or feel free, to make a new one for your business. But once you make a Google account and you log into analytics.google.com, you're going to be opened with this home page here, but it won't have any data. So to go ahead and set things up, we're going to go down to admin down here at the bottom left. This is going to be your settings area. All of your account settings are going to be over here on the left. But what we're concerned with is the property right here. So a property is going to correlate with your website. So you're going to create one property per website. So if you're someone who has two separate web stores, you should probably create two separate properties to track their data separately, unless you would like to, lump all of their usage data all into one big graph. In which case you can, put both websites on one property if you prefer. But to get started, we'll go ahead and create a property right here. It's going to ask you to put in a name. I usually just put, the name of the web store. And then double check that the time zone is correct, because there's some time-based data that you can collect, and we want to make sure that's as accurate as possible. And then down at the bottom here in advanced options, there is an optional setup that you can do. You can create a universal analytics along with your Google Analytics 4 property that we're creating. So Google Analytics, they're changing things around. They're creating a new property type. They're calling it Google Analytics 4. And so the old property type is going to be Universal Analytics. So what they're doing is they're discontinuing Universal Analytics in July of next year, and then moving forward with Google Analytics 4. So if you're someone who's used Google Analytics before and you want to, use an analytics account, a Universal Analytics property to, get back in the swing of things before you transition to Google Analytics 4, we can go ahead and turn this on, and it'll create both the Universal and the Analytics 4 properties. But if you're someone who's new to Google Analytics entirely, it's best just to stick with Analytics 4. No need to learn the Universal Analytics if it's being discontinued. So I'll leave this off. We only want to create our Google Analytics 4. Go ahead and hide those properties there. And we'll go ahead and hit next. And so it's going to ask you some information on your company here, some questions. Feel free to ignore these questions. They're optional. We can go ahead and hit create. And then if we head back over here, it's going to create a new property in this dropdown. If you have multiple properties, they'll be listed here. We created this one called web store name. And now to link it to your PrimaGo web store, we're going to go to data streams right here. It's going to ask you what platform we're using for your web stores. Of course, it's going to be web. So click on that. It's going to ask for your website URL. And then it's going to ask for a stream name. It's usually best just to put the website name in there as well. And then double check that this enhanced measurement is turned on like it is here. That's going to allow you to measure all these different data types like page views, user scrolls on your website, searches, all the good stuff. We want to be measuring as much as possible here. So make sure this is ticked on, and then hit create stream. All right. And then once this is set up, you're going to have your web stream details window open. Check your measurement ID, which is going to be right here. If it starts with a G, that's going to be your Analytics 4 property. If it starts with a U, it's going to be your universal property. So in this case, we want the Google Analytics 4. So we're going to check that this starts with a G. Then we're going to head down to the bottom, and we're going to go to View Tag Instructions. It's going to allow us to link to Prima Go. So we're going to click on Install Manually, and it's going to provide you with this script right here. So this code is what they're going to use to link your Prima Go web store with Google Analytics. It's going to have your unique account code right here that you're going to need, to obviously link to your account. So what we're going to do, we're just going to copy this whole script right here, and then we're going to head over to Prima Go. And so what we're going to do is we're going to create a module to paste that script in, and then we're going to apply that to each of your web pages. So once you copy that script, we're headed over to Contents and then Modules right here. We scroll all the way to the bottom. You have this content part, this HTML module. I'm going to click on that. We're going to create a new one. Make sure you just call it Google Analytics or something. And then we're going to click on Hide HTML Editor to hide this little text editor here. Make sure this window is blank. And I'm just going to paste that script that we copied right here. Go ahead and hit save. There we go. Now once you have that module set up, the last part is going to page layout right here. And we're going to put that module in all of our web pages. So we'll start with About Us up at the top here. You can just add it anywhere. It's not going to show any text or anything on your store. Scroll down the content, click on the one we just created. Go ahead and save. And then it's going to be a rinse and repeat for all of your web pages. So for analytics to be able to track each one of your web pages, it's going to have to applied to each and every one of these pages here. So if we don't put our script module in each one of these pages, Google Analytics won't be able to see it. And then once you keep going, paste it in every single one of these, and then that'll be the end of the setup. Everything's set up, and then you'll start receiving some data. That's the whole process. So if you have any questions about that process, of course, feel free to reach out to us. Or if you'd like some assistance, we can absolutely set it up for you.
Chris, can I add something to your comments there, please? That script, the analytics script, it is important probably that I saw a comment from Jeff actually, but if you put it on the home page, then it will cover the majority of the site. But I agree, if you put it on other pages, it's going to expand on it. But really the first page you should put it on is the bottom of the home page. So it picks up the website straight away.
Gotcha.
Okay, so by default, it's what's recommended to go to the home page, but expand to the others. But home page should cover the majority of the analytics. Okay.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you for that clarification. So once you add it to the home page, it looks like it's going to cover most of it. It looks like. And then, like I said before, it's not going to add any text, or it's not going to show up as anything weird on your website. So just add it to the bottom of the store and it should be good. But once that is set up, if we head back to analytics here, Google will tell you that it may take up to 48 hours to actually start receiving data. So be prepared for that. It might take a little bit to start getting it ready. But once everything's set up, a couple days has gone by, you'll start receiving some data. To check out the data, we're going to go to this home tab up at the top here. And this home tab here is going to be your dashboard. It's going to give you, just kind of general information about all of the reports that are going to be available that we'll look at later. So right now we don't have any data here because it's the brand new property we just set up. So I'm going to switch to one of our properties that I already set up here. So this is going to be our test site. So it's not going to have a whole lot of data, but it's enough to kind of get the general gist of what's going on. I'm going to quickly just kind of give you an overview of all the reports that are available. There's a lot available, so I can't show you everything, but yeah, we'll just kind of show you the basics here. Yeah, so this home tab is going to be your normal dashboard. It's going to show you just kind of general information like the number of users on your site, the number of new users that you've acquired, you know, the average engagement time, how much time they're spending on it, and then the event count. So the event count is going to be each action that your users take on the site. So like an event is going to be anything from like a click or scrolling down the site, you know, typing something in the search. All of those would count as a separate event. And then, yeah, so this homepage is going to give you some general information. If we scroll down, it's going to show you just some suggested reports like the, doesn't seem to want to scroll for me. There it is. Yeah, so just general information like the location of your users, how your users are getting to your site, all that kind of general stuff that we'll be able to see in the reports area anyways over here. So in the left-hand column here, we'll take a look at reports. There's several different types of reports. Reports snapshot up top is going to be very similar to the home page. It's going to be just another dashboard to show you kind of a summary of all the reports that are available. If we head over to real time is going to be a little bit different than all of these other reports. Real time is going to show you real-time data. This is going to show you users in the last 30 minutes. It seems to update every couple of seconds. So you'll be able to see how many users are on your site right this minute. And then some information based on that, like their location and things like that. All the reports are going to have this filter and this comparison function right here. So this is how you're going to tailor the data to fit you. So the filter, of course, is going to act like a filter. It's going to let you filter by things like user demographic or user location, which web page they're viewing, you know, what device they're using to access your site. All that kind of information is filterable. And then a comparison is going to allow you to compare two different filters pretty much. So if you want to compare, you know, the usage of two different cities or two different locations, or, you know, which city is viewing which products for the most, you'll be able to see that kind of information using the filters and the comparison that's going to be available on all the reports. And then to dig into the reports a little bit, we'll go over to acquisition. That's how your users are getting to your site. So it's going to show you information like mainly, yeah, how they're getting to your site. Are they getting it directly? Like, are they clicking on a link, or are they bookmarking your link to get to your site? Or are they searching on Google to get to your site? Our test site isn't available on Google, so we don't have anything like that in here. But it'll show up in this graph if you do. And then, of course, you know, use the filters of comparison to kind of narrow down the kind of information you're looking for. Next would be engagement reports. So what are your customers doing while they're on the site? Like, you know, what are they clicking on? What pages are they viewing? Information like that will be all available here. Next would be monetization. So we don't have any financial information set up here, but monetization looks like it's going to show you, you know, what are your customers spending on your site? And of course, that'll be useful to see what are they clicking on before they purchase products? What are they viewing before they make a purchase? All that kind of stuff. We don't have any data here, but this is what that would show if we had that set up. And then user retention is going to be how many users are returning to your site. You can see that there's 6 new users to the site, but only 4 have returned since they've accessed it for the first time. That'll give you some good information to see who's coming back on a regular basis. Then lastly, down here, we have the user information like demographics. So it's going to show you, age and gender and, information on the users that are getting to your site, as well as tech. This is going to be what technology they're using to access your site. So it's going to be things like, what operating system are they using? It's going to show you what browser they're using, whether they're accessing your site by desktop or like a mobile device, stuff like that. Oh, that's pretty interesting. And so that covers just the gist of the reports area here. Next will be Explore, and Explore kind of shows you some like real in-depth graphs of what's going on your site. These take a little bit to load, so I won't click on any here. But this path exploration one's kind of interesting, where it'll show you the path that your users take while they're on their site. Like, most users start on the home page, and then it'll show you, do a lot of users go log in first, or do they search the product first and then log in, or do they hit their favorites list first, and then where do they go from there? It'll kind of track the path of your users through the site. And then there's a whole bunch of reports here, and you can create one in your own, so feel free to use this area here. And then advertising. We don't have any advertising set up here, but it looks like this will give you some information on if you advertise with Google, how well those advertisements are doing, what kind of traffic it's bringing to your site, that kind of stuff. And then lastly, this configure section, I think you can ignore. It's letting me know that this configure section probably used to have what used to be an admin, but they moved it to this this admin area at the bottom, which again is just your account settings and property settings and stuff like that. And okay, that is everything we have to show you guys today. So if you have any questions on the reports or anything like that, if you want to see something more in depth on the reports, feel free to let us know, and then we can plan a future forum to cover that stuff in more detail. And then, if you want to set up Google Analytics, feel free to reach out to us and we can help you with the setup. And then we'll just go ahead and open the floor for questions.